Hey guys, I'm back with another video. I've already spoken about the batters who impressed me through the women's Under-19 T20 Challenger Trophy in Goa, and now I'm going to talk about the bowlers. Like with the previous video, these won't necessarily be the top wicket takers in the tournament, but these are bowlers who impressed me with their actions, with the way they went about their work, and just their smarts in general. So at number 5, I'm going to start with a fast bowler, surprise, surprise, is a bowler who I've spoken a lot about, Assam's JINTIMANI Kalita. She has a really flowing action, probably the most athletic run-up of all the seamers on show through the tournament. A really smooth action. She gets through the crease nicely, almost glides through. She's really high energy, not just with the ball, but in the field as well, and that really adds to her aura and her presence out there. She's a real trier, reminds me a little of Deepti Sharma, the way you can see her giving her heart and soul in every delivery she bowls. And while she's a really good new ball bowler, she gets the ball to move, bowls really full lengths, and swings the ball away from the right-handers. And while she's really good at that, I think what sets Jintimani apart from the remaining pacers who I saw through the Challenger Trophy is the fact that she's also a really good middle overs bowler. India C used her really smartly, where she bowled a couple of overs up front and then came back in the middle overs and really dotted up the batters, dried up the runs, picked up the odd wicket. She has a good slower ball, and I think that's a skill that not many medium pacers have in India. It's a skill that she can work with and develop. I'm interested to see how she does fare through the quadrangular series and how she's used through that tournament, because like I said, she's good with the new ball but also good in the middle overs. At number 4 is the left arm spinner from Andhra, SREE CHARANI. She's a tall left arm spinner with a really lovely action, is very accurate. She got better through the tournament as it progressed. She did at the start seem quite nervous, seemed to be firing the ball in, but as the tournament progressed, she seemed to gain in confidence, really slowed the ball up, and I think that's one of her strengths is just how she varies her pace, how she holds the ball back. She is quite a tall left arm spinner, so has a really high arm release, and that's one of the way that she picked up wickets. I thought her spell in the final was absolutely brilliant. She has a very slow run up, doesn't gain much momentum, has I guess a very gentle release, bowls at a very gentle pace. But like I said, one of her biggest strengths is just her ability to hold the ball back. She bowls really good lengths, but gets the ball to drop on the batter, so it's never really there for a drive, even though it looks like that. And that is how she kind of got a lot of her wickets through the season, not just in this tournament. So even though she didn't get picked in either of the teams for the quad series, I do think she's someone that I'm really excited to see how she develops and how she kind of makes her way into senior cricket as well. At number 3 is a bowler who I heard a lot about coming into this season, TITAS Sadhù. The fast bowler from Bengal is one of the bowlers who really lived up to the hype. I'd heard so much about her, I built her up in my head, and when I saw her the first time bowling for Bengal, I was extremely impressed. She is tall, very strong, quite well built, gets a lot of energy behind the ball. I think the best way to describe Titas's bowling is efficient. She has a very efficient action, doesn't seem to waste any energy at all. Really strong run up, very energetic in her delivery stride, gets over her front leg nicely, bowls really hard length, almost Jhulan Goswami lengths, gets the ball to rear off a length, and that accuracy is one of her greatest strengths. I think I guess one of my criticisms of her would be that I think on Indian wickets, on slightly slower tracks, she can bowl potentially slightly fuller to be more attacking, but she bowls great back of a length deliveries, and I think in South Africa, if she were to make that squad, she would be a real handful. I think the other thing about Titas is just her calmness in the field. Remember, she was captain of Bengal, she was vice captain of India B, and she really seems to know her game. She knows what she wants to do, and she also hands out advice to other bowlers. She was seen at mid on and mid off constantly talking to the bowlers, not just the fast bowlers but the spinners as well, making adjustments to the field, handing out advice, talking about what lengths they could potentially bowl as well. And I think that's something that really adds to her aura. She is a fantastic leader and is supremely fit. She spent a bunch of her time running from long on to long on when she wasn't bowling. So just a fantastic overall package, and someone I'm extremely excited to see through the quad series. At number 2 is a bowler I've raved about a fair bit, NIRMITI RANE, the off-spinner from Mumbai. She is one of the smartest, the most wiliest bowlers that was on display through the tournament. She has the ability to really outthink the batters. She has a very simple action and almost saunters through the crease, but her delivery stride is very energetic. She gets over her front leg really nicely, gets really good revs on the ball, and she is one of those off-spinners who gets a lot of overspin, so the ball really kicks off the surface. She gets some extra bounce whenever it's on offer, and it's one of the ways she's picked up wickets as well. I mentioned this before, I think she bowled her best spell in the final. Very unlucky to finish on the losing side, but she used her changes of pace really well, and changes of length as well to tie down the batters. She picked up some really crucial wickets to get India B back into that game. She sets relatively straight fields, bowls relatively full lengths, but I think her biggest strength is just her ability to suss out the batter's weaknesses or their strengths really quickly and then create plans on the go. I think the best example of that was in the very first game when she dismissed Hurley Gala. Of course, she is teammates with Hurley at Mumbai, so she understands her strengths and weaknesses, but the thing that Hurley did really, really well through that innings in that first game was that she came forward and really attacked the bowlers, but Nirmiti came on, dragged her lengths back, pushed Hurley back onto the back foot. She bowled quite flat to Hurley and pushed her back onto the back foot, and then threw one up slightly wider, but it wasn't there for the lofted shot, and Hurley was quite frustrated by that point and came down the track and got beaten and stumped, and it was just a very smart display of bowling. I feel for Nirmiti for not making the either of the teams for the quad series, but she is someone I'm really excited to see develop over the years. And finally, at number 1 is a bowler from Uttar Pradesh. Uttar Pradesh has produced a number of quality left-arm spinners. Think of Neetu David, Preeti Dimri, Ekta Bish, there's Rashi Kanojian now, and the latest addition to that is Sonam Yadav. Sonam Yadav is a 15-year-old left-arm spinner. She's just part of that conveyor belt of left-arm spinners from Uttar Pradesh. She's got a really classical action. As someone who's not a big fan of spinners, I really enjoyed watching her bowl. It's rhythmical, simple, and it just seems to flow a lot like Jinti with the pace. It doesn't look like she's putting too much effort into her run-up or her action, but she, from what I've heard, she gets a lot of revs on the ball. It almost fizzes through to the batters, drifts into them and turns away sharply. She's had a fair few batters beaten on the outside edge, playing inside the line, so I think that's a fair indication of just the amount of drift that she does get. Remember, Sonam's only 15, but she's got mean skills, including a decent arm ball. It's not one that she uses a lot, but it makes her that much harder to face. She did get a bit of help from the surfaces in Goa, so it will be interesting to see how she goes on the flatter tracks in Vishakhapatnam. But regardless, Uttar Pradesh continues to produce wonderful left-arm spinners, and Sonam Yadav is one who really, really excites me. Again, I will continue to produce more videos through the quad series and stock this Under-19 team and the players. As usual, like, subscribe, let me know if you think I should add anything, let me know if you think there were other bowlers who you think I missed, and share this video, subscribe, follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I'll keep you updated on all the happenings in junior cricket.